Hey, what's going on, guys? Chad here with Greenlight Shooting, and welcome to this new video. Today we're talking about the newly released Glock 43x. Now, before we get into this thing, I do want to give a shout out to Flawless Firearms. They're the ones who hooked it up for this video, who made it possible, who got me one of these for the week to let me, just test out and review and shoot and stuff like that. So big shout out to them. Their website is down in the description below. They've got some fantastic deals on firearms on their website. They've also got a cool membership thing coming up where, the deals that they can offer are absolutely insane with the membership. So definitely stay tuned, hit them up if you're interested. They also always seem to have the guns that other places don't have in stock. So if you're out looking for something hard to get, definitely check them out. So now let's get into this thing. As I mentioned, this is the Glock 43x. If you're familiar with the Glock 43, it's very similar. It's just kind of their newer generation, if you will. The Glock 43 was a single stack 9mm Glock that was intended obviously for concealed carry, but there were a couple issues with it. Number one, the biggest complaint I think was the capacity. Since it was single stack, you could only hold 6 rounds in a magazine. If you're carrying one in the chamber, that's only giving you 7 rounds total. Even if you're carrying an extra mag, you're looking at 13 rounds on you, and that's less than what a Glock 19 carries in a single mag. So, that was a little bit of a concern. Another concern was the grip length. Depending on hand size and stuff like that, it was really hard to get a good positive just hold on that grip. And then came along the SIG 365, which was even a little bit smaller than the Glock 43, and it held 10 rounds. So the capacity was just mind-blowing. It blew everything out of the water in its class, and it was kind of hard to go with the Glock 43 over the 365, mainly for that reason. But I think this is kind of Glock's answer to the 365. So they've made a couple updates with this Glock 43x. Most notably, definitely, is the magazine capacity. So this one is holding 10 rounds, and it's kind of got that 1.5 stack where it's not quite as thick as a double stack, maybe not quite as thin as a single stack, but it's really walking that line well. They've also added a little bit of length to the grip, and what that means is you can get a really, really solid, good grip on the gun now. It's very similar to like a Glock 19 grip, and I personally love that. I've carried a Glock 19 for about a year, maybe 1.5 years or so, so I've gotten really familiar with the firearm, and this feels so much like the Glock 19, maybe a little bit slimmer, just slim enough to where it feels like it's gonna conceal better, but not slim enough to where it feels like you're giving up control. I think they've found a fantastic middle road with this grip. A few other minor changes. Obviously, we've got this silver slide here. We've got serrations on the back and front of that slide, and then the front of the slide as well as the frame is beveled. Now, I was able to take this thing out to the range. Now, I can only put a couple magazines through it, but it was enough to give me a good feel for the gun. I really did like it a lot. It shot really, really smooth. And as I mentioned, it felt a lot like that Glock 19 I've gotten so used to. You can see some of the targets here. Now, everything was kind of pulling to the low left, and I'm certain that was me, not the gun. It's just, a gun that I'm not familiar with. But overall, the gun felt really, really good. The grip feels so much better than I was expecting it to. Let's talk a little bit about what this gun is actually intended for, in my opinion at least, and I think that's concealed carry. That's this thing's bread and butter. Now, concealed carry has always been sort of this elusive thing because there's these really, really small, tiny, pocket-sized guns that just are terrible to shoot. They hurt your hands, they're inaccurate, they only carry a couple rounds. And then if you're trying to carry a full-size gun like a Glock 17 or something, you get lots of capacity, it's easy and accurate to shoot, but you're giving up concealability. I really, really think this walks the line about as perfect as you could. If I compare it to other things in its class, things like the M&P Shield, like the Springfield XDS, like the SIG 365, I think this is probably the best option across the board. Number one, it's more comfortable. The grip, holding the grip is more comfortable. And all of these guns have relatively short barrels. They're relatively small guns, meaning they're gonna be a little bit snappier than their full-size counterparts. This grip, the width of it, how it fills your palm, as well as the length of it, and you're able to get your all 4 fingers on it, it really allows you to control the firearm in a way that's been really hard with guns in this size, even like an M&P Shield or something like that, because it's so thin. Like I like M&Ps over Glocks all day long, but the M&P Shield is just too slim for me. It kind of feels like it's digging into my palm, and I've never liked the way that felt. So I think the grip is stellar, and obviously the capacity tied with the 365 as the top dog now. It's super concealable with this new thin profile. Lots of capacity and very controllable and accurate to shoot. Man, this thing's gonna be hard to beat. And on top of that, you've got Glock's name, meaning you've got its reliability, its durability. It's built that name for a reason. So yeah, man, that's kind of my first impressions on this Glock 43x. It's really, really hard to beat in this category. In terms of price, MSRP, we're looking at $538. Obviously, you're gonna be able to find that cheaper, on online stores and stuff like that. I think you're probably gonna find this most likely in the probably $450 to $500 range. I know that Flawless Firearms has some killer deals on it, so if you're interested, as I mentioned, their information is in the website below. So is this the best concealed carry gun? I don't know, there's so many variables to consider, and it varies between person, obviously, but I think it's absolutely up there, man. Personally, if it was between this and like I said, I've been carrying the Glock 19. I don't know that there's a reason to carry a Glock 19 anymore. This feels almost just as controllable, but it's so much more concealable. And granted, you're lowering from 15 rounds down to a 10 round mag, but you throw an extra mag in there, you're now at 20 rounds, and the mag is smaller, so it's easier to carry an extra magazine. I don't know, man. I think that the 43x is gonna sort of phase out the Glock 19 for the most part, what's the reason? If you want a gun that's more comfortable and fun to shoot at the range, go with the Glock 17 or 34. But 19 always sort of filled that middle area. And I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with it. Maybe as like a duty weapon, or like the Glock 23 size will still stick around for that. But in terms of the everyday Joe looking for a good concealed carry gun, I don't see any reason you wouldn't go with the Glock 43x if you're going with the Glock. So there it is, man. That's the review on the Glock 43x. Now, Glock did release another firearm called their Glock 48, which I have a video coming out later this week. And, it's another option, but I don't know, guys. This thing's pretty awesome. So leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know, have you shot this gun? What do you think about it? What do you think is the best concealed carry option out there? Right now, I'm leaning towards this guy. So anyways, that's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more videos coming. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Greenlight Shooting.